Hi, friends. Good Monday morning. We made it through the weekend. Today is day 16. I hope you had a really good weekend. I hope you had a good Easter with your family. Behind me, you're going to see a weather map. Today's lesson is all about rain or tornado, the tornado drill that we have at school. So I wanted to throw in a really fun video to start us out. It's the mystery science video that talks about tornadoes, like predicting them, things like that. So I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully it works. And we are going to watch the video first.
Hi, it's Doug. Making a mini tornado like I'm doing here is so fun. But tornadoes in real life are no fun at all. I grew up in a place where tornadoes would happen every year. Luckily, no one ever got hurt. But when a tornado was spotted, the town would sound the sirens and everyone knew to take shelter. Someone named Hai Ming has a question about tornadoes. Let's give him a call now.
Hi, Doug.
Hey, Hai Ming.
I have a question for you. Why is it so hard to predict a tornado?
That's a great question. Tornadoes are a type of extreme weather made of powerful, swirling winds. Some tornadoes are strong enough to tear buildings apart, like this one. Watch this. It tears the roof off that house. You see that? The most powerful tornadoes can leave behind entire towns that have been destroyed. That's what you're seeing here. Because of how dangerous tornadoes can be, weather forecasters try to warn people if a tornado is going to happen. That way everyone nearby can get somewhere safe. The more time people have before a tornado hits, the less likely they are to get hurt. So forecasters try to predict tornadoes as far ahead of time as they can. But for most of history, the only warning you got about a tornado was if you looked outside and you saw one. Today, tornado warnings have gotten a lot better, and that's thanks to tools like radar, which help forecasters see patterns in the weather. But tornado warnings still aren't great. Most times, people only get warned about 13 minutes ahead of time. That's not much time at all. What do you think makes it so hard to predict tornadoes ahead of time? Now would be a good time to pause the video and discuss. Okay, you ready? It might help us figure this out if we compare tornadoes with another form of extreme weather, hurricanes. Unlike tornadoes, hurricanes are pretty easy to predict. Usually, hurricane warnings give people at least 2 days before a hurricane hits. That's enough time to pack up your things and get somewhere safe. But hurricanes form very differently than tornadoes do. You see, hurricanes start out over the ocean. Then they travel for days or even weeks before they hit the land. Scientists can easily see the clouds of a hurricane forming, so they can figure out where a hurricane is likely to hit and how strong it will be. Tornadoes aren't like that. They form over land and quickly swoop down out of the sky to touch the ground. Tornadoes can form and start causing destruction within minutes. Scientists don't have days or weeks to predict them like they do with hurricanes. Instead, scientists look at weather maps showing big thunderstorms like this. This is a storm moving across the U.S. state of Oklahoma. Scientists put together weather images like a video to try and spot where tornadoes are forming. Did you catch the tornado here? Let's watch again. The tornado starts right there on the edge of the storm. It was really quick. Tornadoes are there, and then they're gone. So it's hard to predict exactly where and when a tornado will hit. But scientists have figured out that at the very least, they can pay attention to what weather conditions are likely to lead to tornadoes. That way, people can be on the lookout. The first thing scientists look for is a thunderstorm. But not every thunderstorm creates a tornado. Scientists check for strong winds from different directions, coming together in just the right way to create a vortex. Kind of like when you unplug the drain in a bathtub. The water starts to swirl and makes a vortex going down the drain. In a tornado, there's a vortex of air, but it's going upward into the storm clouds above. Today, scientists are working on better ways to predict tornadoes using computers. They hope that eventually they'll be able to predict tornadoes up to an hour in advance, so people have more time to prepare. But tornadoes will never have as much warning time as things like hurricanes. Luckily, people in tornado zones often have basements and tornado shelters which can protect them, even if a tornado comes quickly. So, in summary, scientists know that tornadoes come from big thunderstorms with strong, spinning winds. But predicting exactly when and where tornadoes will hit is still really difficult. That's all for this week's question. Thanks, Haimeng, for asking it. Now, we'll be back in August with new questions, starting with how do bees make honey, which won last week's poll. But for
Okay.
next week's episode,
So that just kind of gets us ready for the work that we're doing today, which is the tornado drill. We do these at school every day, and so you'll be able to compare, why we do those tornado drills to get us ready for when we have severe weather or tornadoes that come through the school. So I'm going to go ahead and share my next screen. And we are going to get started on our reading of the tornado drill. All right. I'm going to read from my paper once again, but you guys can look at the screen or you can look at your packet as I read. Jonas was sitting in class. Then an alarm went off. It made a loud noise. This had happened before, so Jonas knew what to do when he heard the alarm. He had to go into the hall with the rest of the class. The students all had to sit next to each other, and they had to bend into the shape of a ball. They had to do this in case there was a tornado. At first, Jonas did not know why. He didn't see how sitting in the hallway or bending into the ball shape would help if a tornado came. Then his teacher told him why the class had to do those things. His teacher said tornadoes could break windows and make things fall. So the class had to go into the hallway to be away from the windows. And they sat in the shape of a ball to stay safe from things that fell. Molly was a new student. She sat next to Jonas in class. And when the alarm went off, she hid under the desk. I'll go to the second page. There we go. Jonas had to tell her to go into the hallway with everyone else. The alarm turned out to be a drill. There wasn't a real tornado. This was just practice for if there was a real tornado. So when the drill was over, the students went back into the classroom. After school, Jonas laughed at Molly for hiding under the desk when the alarm went off. He thought she had been scared. Molly laughed. I wasn't scared, she said. She said she had just moved to Oklahoma last week. She used to live in California. They had many earthquakes there. So the schools that have earthquake drills, and when the alarm goes off at school there, it means that the students have to hide under their desks. Another student heard them. She said that she had just gone to Florida to see family. And in Florida, they do not have many tornadoes or earthquakes, but they have hurricanes. One time, a weather forecaster on TV said there was a hurricane near Florida. Weather forecasters tell people what kind of weather is coming. The forecaster said the hurricane would come to the area, so the school was closed the next day. Jonas knew about another storm that could be forecasted ahead of time. He had heard about one from his family in Minnesota. There had been a big snowstorm there. The school was closed for 3 days because of the snow. But they knew the snow was coming, and they had heard a forecaster talk about it the day before the storm. Storms are scary, Molly said, but I think earthquakes and tornadoes are the scariest. The weather forecaster can tell you if a hurricane or a snowstorm will come, but you can't know ahead of time if an earthquake or a tornado will come. All right, so we're going to go to our questions now. Remember, you can always rewind me back. Question 1, what do students do during a tornado drill? A, go into the basement. B, go into the hall and curl up in a ball. C, hide under their desks. Or D, stay home from school. Question 2, what is the setting of the story? A, a classroom in Oklahoma, B, a classroom in California, C, a classroom in Florida, or D, a classroom in Minnesota? Question 3. Read the following sentences. Molly had just joined the class and sat next to Jonas. When the alarm went off, Molly hid under her desk. Jonas had to tell her to get out from under there and follow the class into the hallway. Based on the evidence above, what conclusion can be made? A, Molly did not know it was a tornado drill at first. B, Jonas didn't know what to do in a tornado drill. C, Molly was hiding from Jonas because she felt shy. Or D, the teacher forgot about Molly during the drill. Question 4. Based on the story, what conclusion can be made about emergency drills? A, emergency drills are different depending on the different weather. B, all emergency drills are the same. C, emergency drills are different depending on the different school districts. D, emergency drills are different depending on the different countries. All right, question 5. What is the story mainly about? A, the proper procedures for tornado drills. B, the difference between Oklahoma and California culture. C, the best way to make new students feel welcome at school, we're at home. D, the different ways people respond to weather across the U.S. Question 6. Read the following sentences. Jonas had cousins in Minnesota. They told him that they had 3 days in a row with no school because it wouldn't stop snowing. But they had known about the snowstorm from a prediction by the weather forecaster the day before it had started to snow. As used in the passage, what does the word forecaster mean? Is it A, someone who reports breaking news stories on TV? B, someone who makes predictions of the future? C, someone who gives people instructions for drills? Or D, someone who is an expert on snow? Question 7. Choose the answer that best completes the sentence below. The weather forecaster can probably tell you if a tornado or hurricane will come, blank, with earthquakes you never know. Is it A, actually, B, on the other hand, C, finally, or D, for example? Question 8. Why did Molly hide under the desk during the tornado drill instead of going into the hall like Jonas? You're going to write down what you think. Question 9. Students in Oklahoma, California, Florida, and Minnesota all have different ways of responding to the weather in their areas. What evidence from the text supports this conclusion? Question 10. Why is it important to know what kind of weather is coming into your area? Use information from the story to support your answer. Remember, when we're talking about 8, 9, and 10, you have to go back into your passage and highlight the area where you found the information that goes underneath that question. All right. And then our second reading passage is all about rain. So I'm going to get it ready to read, and you guys can follow along on the screen. Question 1. Well, actually, let me start with the joke. And by the way, the answer to the joke is at the bottom. If you look, it's written upside down. When does it rain money? That's the question. I'm going to give you a few minutes to guess. All right, question 1, umbrellas. Before there were umbrellas, there were parasols. A parasol is similar to an umbrella, except that it's used as a protection from the sun. The main difference between an umbrella and a parasol is an umbrella is waterproof. The first umbrellas appeared in China in the 11th century BC. They were made from silk and only used by the nobility and royalty. What is the difference between a parasol and an umbrella. That's your question. Number 2, in each cloud, write a word that rhymes with the word rain, but does not contain the letter I. Question 3, number these sentences from 1 to 6 and put them in the correct order. All right, so it says, he opened his umbrella. Mr. Jones looked out the window. He went outside. He opened the door. He saw that it was raining outside. He got his umbrella from the closet. Okay. Question 4. Explain the meaning of each of these idioms. Remember, idioms, it's not really raining cats and dogs. Okay, it's a meaning. There's a meaning behind it. It wants you to explain the meaning. Okay, so the first one says it's raining cats and dogs. What does that really mean? When it rains, it pours. What does that one mean? I don't want to rain on your parade. What does that one mean? All right, question 5. It gives you some words in an umbrella. Shower, downpour, sprinkle, drizzle. It says write each word from the weakest to the strongest. Okay. Question 6. The word rain can be a noun or a verb. Noun, person, place, or thing. Verb shows action. Use it in a sentence for each one. So it gives you a line for noun and a line for a verb. All right, now use it in a sentence as an adjective. Okay, remember a hint. Add a Y to the end. An adjective describes a noun, remember? All right, so make a T-chart on the back of this paper. On one side, write bad things about rain, and on the other side, write good things about rain. Now, remember the joke. When does it rain money? It says when there's a change in the weather. Change, get it? Money. All right, don't forget to do your 20 minutes of reading. I know we finished a book last week. I'm debating on whether or not to start a book today. I may do that. The book that I'm going to read is a Judy Blume book. It's Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing, and you'll be able to use it to do your reading for your 20 minutes. All right, and then there is some extra writing today. It says a special meal. Write a story about a time when you experienced a wonderful meal. It has been in a restaurant, in your own home, at a relative's house, church, or at a friend's house. The meal could have been part of a special celebration. Hint, hint, we just had Easter. Did your family do a special meal for that? Describe the situation. Tell what type of food you had, why the meal was so special, where you were, and who you were with. Describe the different types of food you had. Explain why this was a special meal for you, and describe where the special meal took place and who you were with. Okay? Then you're going to do your practicing. It says T is for treasure, T is for time, T is for turkey on some slime. And you are going to trace it, then write it. And once again, U is for umbrella, U is for up, U is for underwear in a cup. Got some pretty cool poems going this week. Okay, so this is comparing fractions. It says to compare fractions, determine which figure has more area shaded. If necessary, find the equivalent fraction. Remember, that means it's a fraction. That means the same thing. Most of the time, you can multiply it by 2. And compare the numerators. So in the first one, it says a half or 3/6. Okay. Does 3/6 equal a half? Yes, because 2 times 3 is 6, and 1 times 3 is 3. So it gives you 3/6. So you're multiplying by 3. So they are equal. But 1/3 and 2/6, yep, you're multiplying by 2, so they are equal. 3 times 2 is 6, 1 times 2 is 2. 3/6 and 2/6, it is showing 3/6 is greater than 2/6 because 3 is larger than 2. So you are going to go through and you are going to see which one is bigger. Okay, we know that both of those are triangles. We know they are sectioned off into 3. So 1/3 and 2/3. Which one is bigger? Now, on the second one over here, you can just draw that line straight across and get 4 boxes, or you can make it look like this so that they are equivalent. Okay? So don't forget to do those. And week 17 of your math review, you are doing fractions, you are doing multiplication, you are filling in the table here. 6 times 6 is 36. 7 times 6, you're going to give me that answer. This is all review. You should be good to go there. Once again, there's a little bit of time down here. You should be able to do that with no issues. And always remember, friends, that if you need me, I'm here. I'm only a phone call away. Please feel free to call me, text me, email me, dojo. However you need to communicate, I'm here for you to make your life easier. All right, friends. Remember, I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place.